Remember the murmurs about Seiya not wanting to DH? Well, that's not going to be a problem this year.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen or watch every day. Subscribe on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, then like the video and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by our great partner at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Seiya Suzuki had tough moments in right field last year. That's maybe even putting it mildly. And once PCA supplanted himself in center and Cody Bellinger returned to the field healthy, Seiya moved to DH, and that seemed like the logical move at the time. Not only was it the logical move, it impacted his performance as Seiya posted a 140 WRC plus in 59 games as the DH. Well, Sam, with PCA still in center, Kyle Tucker in right, we know Ian Happ's in left. Suzuki is slated to continue as the DH, but this is despite some noise from his agent at the winter meetings. But Craig Counsell put that all to rest over the weekend.
Matt, I'm going to share a quick anecdote from my day before we get into Suzuki, before I give my take. I just want to share this with you and our listeners. So Monday morning, I went to go start my car, at like 6, 7 a.m. because it's about 50 below here. And I met a nice guy that works in the building. I'm not going to name him. And he was super kind. He said, hey, if you need to do this tomorrow, I could get you a spot in the garage because we have some spots. Don't worry about it. Like, we're going to take care of you, whatever. I said, hey, that's great. I'm actually not going to do that till Wednesday. Will you be around? And he said, no, I just signed with the Dodgers. So it's, going to be one of those days. His great work. The Dodgers heard he was doing great work in the building. So they hired him. He's going to go take care of all the Dodgers out there. Yeah, look, the Suzuki thing's a non-issue. The Suzuki thing, I just had to make a comment about that. It's not official, the Yates thing, but come on. You know what I mean? The Suzuki thing was never an issue.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
So that was agent Joe Wolf, excuse me.
Joe Wolf.
What was his goal then?
Oh, no.
December?
I genuinely don't think Suzuki, I think he wants to play the outfield, but I just think it's a non-issue. It's like,
got it.
It's no different than, there's certain things that I'm sure at both of our jobs we wish we could do or not do, but you get paid money to do what you're asked to do. You know what I mean? And so, he's what is he making this year? About 18.5, something like that. He's got about 18 million reasons why to just DH. So, I never thought that would be an issue between those two guys. I think it was trade chatter related. Hey, I believe the motive for Wolf was, just so you guys know, if you want to trade for Seiya, he's not as happy here and he's willing to waive his no trade. I think that was what that rumor was about. But as far as, could this impact the team or anything like that? I mean, Counsell was really direct at the panel. I mean, somebody asked the question. He said, Seiya's going to DH. And what was his exact words? It was like, Seiya's going to DH, and that's how that's going to go.
Yeah, well, I could give it to you right now.
Please.
I told him that right now it's DH where the at-bats will come from. He understands, he's on board. He wants to play the field, but he understands that right now this is where the team sits. Close quote.
Yeah, it was, and hearing it in person was more direct than that. And he said that, he talked to Seiya. Seiya was fine with it, and that's that. So, I think I said multiple times in the show, I never really bought into that whole issue. Sometimes in the NFL, there's like hey, this guy doesn't want to be franchised and he's going to hold out or whatever. Like, there was nothing like that. This is just, hey, he wants to play the outfield. Great. Maybe he's thinking about his next contract. That absolutely could be that too. Cause the DH market is, you get paid a lot less if you don't play the field, and, he's got a job to do with that. But, we have a a really, really good defensive right fielder. We have a special defensive center fielder and a 3-time defending Gold Glover in left. So, and we also really need a good, strong right-handed DH. So there's just
Totally.
this is a non-story.
A non-story. And really the angle that I want to take after addressing that part of it is, do we believe that Seiya was actually a better hitter as the designated hitter?
That's a great question.
Because Seiya has been reported to have bouts with the mental part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I understand he had a good track record in the outfield in Japan. Has that carried over? Not necessarily.
No.
Okay, he's been league average or below average. And he's had a few plays, really a handful, 4 or 5 that were really unfortunate. But taking him off the field, letting him do what he does best, which is to hit and get on base and slug and do what he does at the plate, I think you can reference some of this evidence, whether it's the 140 WRC plus, whether it's the little bit more slug that he provided, whether he hit for a little more average. And if he's going to bat either second, third, or fourth in this lineup, which he is going to do, I think the Cubs are better, and he is better if he's the DH. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Cubs are better. My devil's advocate
Sure.
play would just be, from my experience of evaluating players, I feel like the guys that are really focused on the mental part of the game would want to play the field, because if he sits in the dugout the whole time, he's just thinking about it, bat over it, bat over it, bat,
Sure.
film,
Yeah,
iPad,
over
iPad. So, that's the other side of it. I don't read too much into his numbers because, the DH, non-DH, because I just think he probably was going to get there either way. But there's a case to be made. Yeah. And the Cubs are a better team when Seiya Suzuki DHs, and that's really all that matters.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's what you do this for. It would be one thing like this. This is kind of like the Happ leadoff thing, right? Where it's like, now, if Ian Happ really becomes a worse hitter leading off, then it's not good for the team if Ian Happ's not as good of a hitter as he typically is. But as long as he's fine, and in your case, to your point, he's actually better as a DH, there's no point to be made. The Cubs are a better team. They just went out and got an all-world right fielder, and so that's that.
Yeah, and I really am thinking that Happ is basically a guarantee to hit leadoff. Where he opened and closed the year last year, but for whatever reason in the middle did not, whether it was injury or something else. For our Tuesday episode, Sam, we talked about Nico Horner. Really hope he misses, the 2 to 9 games. We'll see if it's more.
Yeah.
But I did, for the first time, as we're now inside of 2 months, opening day on March 18th, I did want to reveal a projected lineup on the 18th in Tokyo.
Oh, wow. What a surprise.
But that's as of right now, though. Okay, we think they're going to fill out their roster.
Is this assuming Horner, like you said, assuming no Nico?
It is.
Okay.
It's going to be Happ in left, Swanson at short, Tucker in right, Suzuki's the DH, Bush at first, Shaw at third, hitting sixth, PCA in center, Amaya catching, Bruhan at second.
Go Cubs.
No, it's a great lineup. Obviously, I just giggled just the way you said Bruhan's name. So, yeah, no, that's a good lineup.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think
you don't like this lineup. Just say it.
No. I think if you add, Horn. Come on, can we be professional, please?
Is this an 0-2 start or 1-1?
I feel like Don Rickles on the Larry King show when Larry King can't stop laughing. Nobody knows that reference. Anyway,
it's a great reference, though.
You know what I'm talking about? That clip?
Yeah.
I think if you actually sub in Nico for Bruhan, it's actually a pretty decent lineup. I mean, it feels the exact same as last year, except Tucker, and that's what they need. Can Tucker be that guy to say, "Hey, all right, we're having a slow month here. Well, I have an OPS of 960 this month. We're going to be just fine, fellas."
Absolutely.
But, I look at this lineup and I see Shaw 6 and PCA 7, and I just can't ignore how big of a key those two gentlemen are to this team. And let me tell you something. I was telling my cousin Scott about the
I think Bush too.
Yeah, I was telling my cousin Scott about the convention, and I
Yeah.
was talking to him about just PCA. I'm a big personality guy. You know that. And to a fault. Like sometimes I take talking and interviews and stuff too seriously. That guy just carries himself like a star, man.
Yeah,
He
he
just
does.
does. He just does. And he sure played like it for big portions of the season last year. And if him or Shaw could, in Shaw's case, start taking a leap, or PCA could take a leap, that lineup looks completely different when Nico comes back. But I don't think it'll be Bruhan. I think they'll have somebody else ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thought there. All right. Well, coming up next.
Good lineup by you.
Thank you. We have an update on a trio of pitchers. Actually, it's a foursome of pitchers if you include Cade Horton. Have an update on him. Then three guys who had some major league time with the Cubs. Then also Dansby Swanson. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by SelectQuote. In sports, having a winning strategy is everything. It's how the best teams make it to the Super Bowl, the World Series, and the Olympics. The same goes for life. Having a strategy like life insurance from SelectQuote that can protect your financial legacy and keep your family's future secure. SelectQuote makes it easy to find the perfect life insurance policy. As one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, they've helped over 2 million customers find $700 billion in coverage since 1985. What sets SelectQuote apart is their personal touch. Unlike other brokers that offer one-size-fits-all policies, their licensed agents tailor coverage to fit your unique needs. And if you're in good health, you might even qualify for same-day coverage of up to $5 million. No medical exam required. And it's more affordable than you think. You can get up to $1 million in coverage for as little as $20 a month. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/lockedon. Go to selectquote.com/lockedon today to get started. Select Quotes. They shop, you save. Ben Brown, Luke Little, and Jordan Wicks are all doing well and primed for normal spring trainings, as is right-handed pitching prospect Cade Horton, who after dominating in 4 starts at AA to open 2024, got the call to AAA, where he made 5 starts and struggled before being shut down with the shoulder injury. And then I have some news on Dansby Swanson. Sam, your thoughts first on the pitchers. I mean, those first 3 names, Brown, Little, and Wicks, in theory, could make an opening day roster or at least shortly thereafter. And then I'm excited to see a healthy Cade Horton, whether he starts his season in Des Moines on the regular time, or maybe he's a little bit delayed. We'll see.
Great news.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the word pivotal season for Cade Horton this year. Really needs to stay healthy and perform. I'd go as far as to say I'd be surprised if Ben Brown wasn't on the opening day roster if he's completely healthy, because with the way the reliever market is trending, even if the Cubs do sign a Jansen or Finnegan or an Estevez, they still need another late inning guy there, in my opinion. And I would love for that to be Ben Brown. I don't really even think that's limiting his ceiling at all. It helps the team too. Good news on Little. Actually had a chance to meet him at the convention. And Wicks too, right? Like that was kind of the story last year and it was a smaller story because things didn't go well for the team. So you didn't talk about it as much. it felt like a real nice step forward for some of the position player prospects. Obviously, PCA at the big league level. Matt Shaw, AA into AAA. Even Kevin Alcantara really salvaged his season. But on the pitcher prospect front, Ben Brown injury, Jordan Wicks injured off and on, Cade Horton injured. You know what I mean? So these guys being healthy, really important, and really happy that it sounds like it's going to be a pretty normal spring for them.
Well, and I remember you saying as we were initially reviewing the 24 season back in October, Cade Horton missing that much time, that's one of the bigger stories of the year for the organization. And so if you flip that on itself, trying to preview this 25 campaign, it's okay, how much progress can this dude make and what kind of impact could he even have, this year, perhaps down a stretch, but certainly, March 2026. Whether that's the rotation or the bullpen. Jordan Wicks starting the season, at the top of the rotation for the Cubs seems like the best case scenario for him right now. And that's good. That's good for the team to have that depth in there. And I would really like Brown and Little to make the opening day roster. I really don't want to mess around with Rob Z, with all due respect. I don't want to mess around with Cody Poteet. I don't want to mess around with some of these other dudes. And if someone that they signed to a minor league deal just absolutely goes crazy in spring training, yes, maybe you consider adding them to the 40-man and they go to Japan. Okay, congratulations. That would be a big accomplishment for a Trevor Richards or Phil Bickford or Ben Heller, all those guys.
They got a lot of those guys, man.
But really, the most upside, Brown and Little. And I get it. We have some familiarity, but when those guys are on, come on, those are the best options.
No question. No question. Couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's get into Dansby.
Well, Dansby Swanson said at Cubs convention that the core surgery he underwent in October was an issue he dealt with for the last season and a half. Following the surgery, Swanson told reporters he does feel like himself again and will be ready for spring training and the regular season. Quote, "It was obviously my choice to play and play through things. It's our job to figure out how to still be a productive player in different ways," close quote. So some vague nature to that quote, but he was also on the train ride, Sam, to the convention. Swanson was on 670.
I thought you were going to say you took the train with him.
No, I wish.
Swanson, wow, you want to talk about a guy that's a man of the people. He's taking to the train.
He basically said, you know what, the Cubs staff told me this was serious, but I decided to play through it. And so then they helped treat me that way. It's tough because I just thought, in that period when before he went on the IL, you could really see it in his play, especially actually defensively.
Yeah, you were all over it.
But a core injury to hit, basically impossible.
Do we know what are we not allowed to know the specifics of the injury? I heard, is it a sports hernia?
We still don't know officially.
We don't know officially because the way he described it in his interview was like, I had some things going on that weren't right or something like that. I listened to it. And so it was just like, I'd love to know what it was. But yeah, I said this on yesterday's show, like in Dansby's defense, because I know the case is, hey, are you hurting or helping the team by playing? And I still think with the Cubs situation, Horner moves over to short, and then whoever played, and Horner couldn't move over to short because he was hurt at the last part of the year. He couldn't throw. So then you got to put someone there. He probably still, the watered down version of him was still probably the best player for the Cubs at that said position. Now this year would be a little different because Nico's completely healthy. He goes to short. Matt Shaw could play second. Then you could fill someone in at third. But I think last year he probably, everything okay?
Hit my mic there.
That's all right. Everything. No, it looks fine. Just startled me for a bit. I think he probably still wasn't hurting the team by playing. And, like he said, if you're out there, you're going to be judged for that. But like I said on our preview show, I think he might be the guy that takes the biggest step forward from 24 to 25.
Yeah. I enjoyed doing that episode. Who could take the next step in 25, and that would be a pivotal player to do just that. How am I coming through? Is the volume the same?
You sound absolutely tremendous.
I think it's fine. So, but that scared me as well. Hey, 3 players are now newly minted to the Baseball Hall of Fame. We know Sammy Sosa and Derek Lee made the Cubs Hall of Fame this past weekend. Who could be next to join the North Side enshrinements? We get to that next.
This episode is brought to you by Game Time, whether it's a Cubs game, and I went to about 5 or 6 of those last year. Use Game Time every time.
How many do you think you'll go to this year?
Talk to me in June, a comedy show or a concert. I love going to live events. And now Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. The experience of searching for and then buying tickets on Game Time is simple. It really is. Plus, Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKDOWNMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it?
Game time. All right, Cubs Hall of Fame to close out the show here. Just really great moment in person when Sammy Sosa and Derek Lee were announced as the newest Cubs Hall of Famers. Remember last year it was Kerry Wood and Aramis Ramirez. Cubs established their Hall of Fame a few years ago and now have over 60 members, and it's not just players. Pat Hughes is in there as well, a couple managers, coaches, things like that. But on the player side, Sam, you need at least 5 years as a Cubs player. That's pretty much the only prerequisite.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to nail down like how many years you need to be out of the league, but
yeah, me too. I looked for that too, and I couldn't really find it.
Yeah. But I have one really clear candidate who I think should be next.
Me too. Do you want to say it on 3? There's no prep here.
Say it on 3.
Okay.
We didn't tell each other.
We didn't tell each other.
Go Cubs.
1, 2, 3. Carlos Zambrano. Yes. It's
right.
got to be him. Let me read you some of these stats.
No, that's an easy pick.
Okay, so you know how, and you know Jed, he loves wins above replacement.
Right.
Showtime Managa last year at a wins above replacement of 3.0, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, he was amazing. Let me read you Carlos Zambrano's WAR from 03 to 08.
So this is each individual year?
03, 5.4.
What?
04, 6.6. 05, 5.6. 06, 5.3. 07, 3.4. 08, 4.2. This is B WAR, Bleacher reference, because there's B WAR and F WAR. It gets real complicated. This guy was a stud, man. He finished top 5 in Cy Young Award voting 3 separate years.
Wow.
He made a bunch of starts for the Cubs on opening day. A career 3.66 ERA with the Cubs. It was 3.60. You can make the case he's not a fan favorite like Kerry Wood, but he was probably a better pitcher for the Cubs overall than Kerry Wood. He didn't reach the peaks. You know, people forget Carlos Zambrano was on the 03 Cubs.
Yeah, absolutely. How old would he have been? Or how young?
In 03, he was 22 years of age.
Wow.
So this guy is a clear candidate. Obviously, you know, had some anger things in the dugout that happened, but, you know.
Anger things.
Well, I don't know the right way to say it because, you know, maybe that could have turned off some people. Didn't turn me off. I love it.
Right.
And
he had a bit of a temper.
Yeah, a bit of a temper. That's the term. But he was a great pitcher. I was thinking about doing this for my solo tomorrow, but I think it's appropriate to say today he should be the next candidate. It seems like they like to do 2 at a time. So I don't know who the other one would be, but Zambrano.
I do.
Oh, here, float it out. Let me think. Hold on, let me think. Okay, so they did a Lee and a Ramis. Yep. Is this has got to be? Is this a newer guy?
Newer, yeah, pitcher.
Is it Lester?
No.
No, farther away.
No, you're right in the same roster.
Arrieta.
Arrieta.
Yeah. And what would be the thought?
Well, wait, Lester did 5 years with the Cubs too, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so they should both make it.
What would the process be? Because I feel like
all right, I'm gonna actually I have a prediction right now.
Okay.
Next convention is the World Series celebration.
Oh, you're right.
Which inexplicably, you and Nick Cozy think there's going to be basically no one's going to show up for that.
No, that's not what I said.
So
I said if Rizzo, Brian are still on other teams, they may not come back for that until they're off the teams.
All right, I could see that. But they're going to do something, and I think they'll also at the same time elect Lester and Arrieta into the Hall of Fame.
Right. And yeah, and then Hendricks will be on. I don't think they'll ever elect an active player into the Hall of Fame. I don't know.
I think they need at least 5 years out of the league.
Okay. And yeah, with that, but then Lester probably wouldn't qualify, or Arrieta.
I don't think either player would qualify.
Yeah. No,
so we should just shut this down. We gotta go.
No, Zambrano.
Zambrano was a good pick.
And then how about Ryan Dempster? Let's just pull up his numbers. A little food for thought before
Ryan Dempster. Yeah, probably.
Let's talk
He's
about
one of the 25 best Cubs of the last quarter century.
Let's see. Let me look at Dempster's stuff here. Well,
I'm having to do that series 25 for 25.
No, we should. I've thought a lot about it. Yeah. I might not be able to pull that up currently because I'm having some. The temperatures are really.
Ryan Dempster, Sam, had a career as a closer and then as a starter, or was it the other way around?
I think he went starter, closer, back to starter.
Jeez,
I think. But with the Cubs, it was the way you said it.
Okay, good candidate.
Yeah, but to me, Zambrano is the
a no-brainer.
I got MLB pulled up here. Now I just went off Baseball Reference.
Big Z is a no-brainer. Oh, by the way, Sam, for Big Z,
yeah,
how many home runs did he hit?
A lot. I think he hit like 24, 25. Oh. I don't have it in front of me anymore, but so he started a bunch of games with the Marlins, but with the Cubs. He was reliever, and then 2008 is when he became a starter. And I mean, 2008 he went 17-6 with a 2.96.
Unbelievable.
And
he must have been an all-star at least one time.
Yeah. Oh, he was an all-star in 2008, and with 206 innings. And then he was in a big trade.
Yeah, you include that in the candidacy. Yeah,
well, I'm just saying.
Brought the Cubs Kyle Hendricks.
With no Dempster means no Hendricks.
That's a weird reality, especially because he waived his no trade clause, right? For a trade to the Atlanta Braves.
I'm not going to pretend that I know that because I like to be transparent, but I'll take your word for it.
I remember that. I remember being in where I was when I heard that.
Let me get Zambrano. Let's see. What did I say? 24 homers? Yeah, 24 right on the dot.
Wow, good memory.
Hey, before we get out of here, can I read you this stat?
Yeah.
You want to know what Zambrano's offensive numbers were in 2008?
Was it like 350 average or something?
He hit 337.
I think that was the year he got used as a pinch hitter quite a bit, right?
In 37 games, 85 plate appearances, he had an 892 OPS. He had 4 homers. He was worth 1.2 WAR just as a hitter.
Can he play second next year?
I want to see this guy get inducted next year.
No, that's the pick. You're right. We did the little dance at the World Series team, but he's the guy. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. It was 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with the laugh or two along the way. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube or leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this podcast. All right. That's going to do it for us. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Sam Solo show. Quick preview. Dodgers talk.
Yeah, a little Dodgers Cubs talk.
All right. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.
See ya.